Konnichiwa! Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Nihongo Master podcast. It's Azra, your host, breaking down yet another Japanese grammar pointer into bite-sized, digestible chunks and sharing them with you through our language series, Study Saturday. As part of our new season's theme, Working in Japan, we're going to tweak the lessons and examples to make it relatable to the work environment. But don't worry, they're still going to be usable in everyday situations and conversations too. So a bit of something for everyone. And if you've read the title, you'd know that we're going to be looking at how to say I was by in Japanese, or the passive form. Ready to get into it? So the passive form is one of the most important ones in the Japanese language. Basically, a passive sentence is when an action is being done to the subject. Unlike in English, it's best to use passive sentences in Japanese. In fact, it's used more frequently compared to the usage in English conversations, because it's preferred in Japanese. There's a simple format that you can follow for the passive form. We first have to split the verbs into ru and u verbs. Let's take a look at the ru verbs first. All you have to do is take the last ru and replace it with rareru. For example, shiraberu, which means to investigate, becomes shirabe rareru. Shirabe rareru. Simple, right? This form is similar to the potential forms of ru verbs, but unlike the potential form, can't omit the ra for this one. If you don't know how to conjugate into the potential form, check out Season 3, Episode 4, where we look at two potential forms. Now, the u verbs. This can be a bit more confusing, but let's take it slow. First, you have to take away the u pronunciation out. Then add areru. For example, hanasu, which means to speak, becomes hanasareru. Nomu, to drink, becomes nomareru. Now, just like all conjugations, there are a few exceptions. Suru and kuru. Suru just becomes sareru, and kuru becomes korareru. Okay, now that you know the basic conjugation for passive forms, let's take a look at the basic sentence pattern for passive sentences. First, you have the subject used with the particle wa. Then add the doer used with the particle ni. And then the verb in its passive form. Let's have an example. So, a passive sentence is something like this. I was stung by a bee. The subject is me, watashi. The doer is the bee, hachi. The verb is to sting, sasu, which is changed to sasareru for its passive form. Together, the sentence is watashi wa hachi ni sasareta. Let's have another example. I was asked a question by my sister. Now, the subject here is also me, watashi. The doer is my sister, onee-san. And the verb is ask a question, shitsumon o suru, which becomes shitsumon o sareru. Now, the sentence is watashi wa onee-san ni shitsumon o sareta. You can change the ni to kara in a few situations. If both the subject and doer are people, when there's another ni particle in the sentence that expresses direction, and when something is made from something. You can also change ni to niyotte for more formal situations, or if something is created for someone. We'll have examples of all of them in our role-playing scenarios later. Now, there's also the talk of indirect passive sentences. Take a moment to process that, because I needed to at first. A direct passive sentences is like saying, I was kissed. No big deal, this is the same as in English. An indirect passive sentence is like saying, someone did something, and as a result, something happened to me. Yep, you can imagine that this is used to complain a lot. I'll give a quick example for this one. A baby cried at night, and therefore, I was disturbed. So this is when you can use the indirect passive sentence. The sentence structure is pretty similar. Subject, me, watashi. Doer, baby, akachan. Action, to cry, naku, which becomes nakareru. At night, yoru ni, at the beginning of the sentence. Now put them all together and you have yoru ni watashi wa akachan ni nakareta. Okay, now that can be quite the load of information. A recap should be helpful. So to conjugate to the passive form, for ru verbs, replace the ru with rareru. And for u verbs, replace u with areru. The sentence structure is subject wa, doer ni, passive verb form. This sentence structure can also be used for indirect passive sentences, which is saying that someone did something which indirectly affected you. Ni particle can be changed to kara or niyotte, depending on the situation, but ni is most often a safe bet. Phew, made it through the explanation. Now it's time to put that theory into practice. We're going to have short role-playing scenarios that use the new grammar point we just learned. First off, we have Nini and Tom at work discussing the recent project.
あ、ニニさん、プロジェクトについて質問してもいいですか？わからないことがありますけど。
あ、トムだ。ごめんなさい。日本語をとても早く話されました。上手ですよね。とにかく、はい、あなたの質問は何ですか？
あ、メモを借りることはできますか？昨日雨に降られまして、私のメモが濡れた。
もちろんです。トムは私のメモを読むことができないかもしれません。手書きが見にくいと言われましたから。
大丈夫と思います。昼食後にメモのためにニニさんのを見つけますね。シャラは大丈夫ですか？
はい、また後で。
Now let's have a listen at the English translation.
Hey Nini, can I ask you a question about the project? There's something I don't know.
Oh, it's you, Tom. Sorry, I was shocked by you speaking Japanese fast. You're so fluent. Anyway, yes? What is your question?
Can I borrow your notes on it? I was rained on yesterday and my notes got wet.
Oh, of course. You might not be able to read my notes. I've been told that my handwriting is ugly.
I think it should be fine. I'll find you after lunchtime for the notes. Is that okay?
Sure, see you later.
Okay, let's take a look at another short role-playing scenario, this time with a short quiz afterwards. Here, we have Lisa talking to her university teacher.
先生、宿題を完了するために1週間ぐらい余分に持てますか？
Lisa-san, konnichiwa. なんでですか？何かが起こりましたか？
私のパソコンは昨日盗まれまして、新しいパソコンを買わなくてはなりません。
そうですか？わかりました。1週間で十分ですか？ 2 週間なら大丈夫ですよ。
本当ですか？ありがとうございます、先生。
金はどうされますか？
両親から渡されまして大丈夫です。
Now, we have 3 quiz questions for you to challenge yourself with. First question, what did Lisa ask her teacher and why? Second question, how long did her teacher give her instead? Third question, how did she get money for the laptop? Answer check. The first question's answer is, Lisa asked if she could get an extra week for her homework because her laptop was stolen. The second question's answer is, her teacher gave her 2 weeks instead. The third question's answer is, Lisa was given money by her parents for the new laptop. Let's wrap it up with a quick vocab recap. Shiraberu, to investigate. Hanasu, to speak. Nomu, to drink. Hachi, bee. Sasu, to sting. Onee-san, sister. Shitsumo no suru, to ask a question. Akachan, baby. Yoru, night. Naku, to cry. Nitsuite, about. Hayaku, fast. Jozu, to be good at or fluent. Kariru, to borrow. Ame ga furu, to rain. Nureru, to get wet. Tegaki, handwriting. Minikui, ugly. Chushokugo, after lunch. Mitsukeru, to find. Yobun, extra. Motsu, to have. Okoru, to happen. Paskon, laptop. Nusumu, to steal. Atarashi, new. Cow, to buy. 十分 enough. お金 money. 両親 parents. 渡す to pass or to hand over. Now you're all set to talk in a passive tone, in Japanese of course. Remember, it's much better to talk in passive sentences, especially at work. It's much more preferred in Japanese culture. Do you think switching from direct English tone to passive tone in Japanese is difficult? Tell us your thoughts by commenting on our social media platforms. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We don't bite, promise. Also, if you're interested in similar bite-sized grammar pointers, head over to Nihongo Master blog for more. And if you're keen on picking up some more Japanese for yourself, pop onto our official website, nihongomaster.com, to learn more about our interactive online learning system. At Nihongo Master, we offer efficient Japanese lessons that are quick, easy, and fun for Japanese language learners of all levels, from beginners to advanced. Our smart tools will assist you in areas where you need a bit of a push and congratulate you on the ones you've aced. Get a subscription today and get a head start on your Nihongo journey with Nihongo Master. And thank you so much for listening in. Join me next time where we'll be looking at another interesting part of the Japanese language. Mata ne!